Hello there, good evening and welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. My name is Desmond Okrekudanso and you're streaming live from our studios here at Northridge in Accra. You're streaming on all our social media platforms and also live on DSTV channel 277. Let's take a look at our headlines this evening. And President Akufo-Addo urges Ghanaians to support government in its quest to restore the nation's vegetative cover as 2022 Green Ghana Day is observed. And former President John Dramani Mahama has called on the ruling NPP government to welcome criticism, to protect journalists and to safeguard democracy on the occasion to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the opposition NGC. And also a group of aggrieved prospective HAJJ pilgrims to protest face course for this year's journey, accusing the National HAJJ Board of breach of agreement. To bring you details on that. And on the international front, 11 military personnel have been killed in northern Burkina Faso after their post was attacked by armed men. These and many more stories coming up in this bulletin. Now let's settle for the details to our first story. And President Akufo-Addo has urged Ghanaians to support government in its attempt to restore the nation's lost vegetative cover, with an ambitious plan to plant 20 million trees as part of the Green Ghana initiative. The president says this move is key to mitigate the impact of climate change.
Climate change has stoked a number of threats to millions of trees globally. The impact, if not mitigated, will have devastating impact on food security. For this reason, government initiated the Green Ghana project to rally support of Ghanaians to plant tree seedlings in their communities. This year, the plan is to plant 20 million seedlings.
I've secured a $7 million World Bank loan to support private investment in forest plantation. Some 85,000 hectares of forest will be planted under this scheme. In October last year, Mr. President launched the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, which, among others, seeks to reclaim degraded mine lands and return them to viable agricultural lands. And under the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, we are pursuing further reclamation efforts.
President Akufo-Addo urged Ghanaians to support government to restore the country's lost vegetative cover.
Despite their importance to our existence, our forests are depleting at an alarming rate. Some 80 years ago, half of the Earth's surface was covered by forests. Today, with an estimated forest area of 4 billion hectares, forests cover less than 30% of the world's surface.
The president, together with the lands minister and other officials, planted some seedlings at the Far Sutherland Children's Park. The exercise was carried out in all 16 regions of the country.
And still on the Green Ghana Day, the Chief of Defense Staff, Vice Admiral Seth Amwama, has implored the Ghana Armed Forces and Ghanaians to help replenish Ghana's dissipated cover by supporting government in planting over 2 million trees across the country. He was speaking during the Green Ghana campaign launch at the military base in Accra.
The Green Ghana Day, as we all know, is aimed at restoring the lost forest cover of Ghana and contribute to the global efforts of fighting climate change under the theme Mobilizing for a Greener Future. Our nation's intervention is to replenish the dissipated forest cover to help address the negative impact of the global climate change in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which mandates every member state of the United Nations to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. As the Chief of Defense Staff, I have directed all garrisons and units to take active part in this noble exercise spearheaded by His Excellency the President. It is worthy of note that the Ghana Armed Forces, through Operation Halt 2, is already playing a key role in the government's effort in fighting illegal mining and in its effects of massive land degradation.
Now, on their part, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte and the Municipal Chief Executive of Ayawaso West, Sandra Owusu-Ahenkra, also called on the citizenry to, in line with SDG Goal 13, plant more trees to help combat climate change and its impact. They also planted some trees around the Tetekwashi interchange.
Indeed, you will agree with me that because of climate change, today we have heard the millions of acres of rainfall that the whole world loses in an hour, in a day, in a month, and in a year. It is indeed imperative for us to replace these trees or rainforests that we are losing. So it is the right direction that we all support this wonderful innovation of greening Ghana. And so that's why we are here today. And what is more significant of coming here is this area is known as Tetekwashi Roundabout. And today we have been reliably informed that the staff of Cocoa Board were here. And as a result of that, they have planted some cocoa trees here. Beautiful, wonderful idea. So everybody will drive by and see that Tetekwashi, the man who brought cocoa to Ghana, is being remembered by planting some cocoa trees in this area. I think it's a very brilliant idea. We may not have the complete success that we initially thought of, because you can see that the recent flooding has wiped away properties and all that. So I wouldn't be surprised that some trees that we planted may have been washed away by the rains. But that notwithstanding, indeed, they have brought some reports, and we will look at it and then make available to the general public the status of the trees that were planted last year during the Green Ghana. And again, I continue to emphasize that in Greater Accra, the directives to the MMDAs are to ensure that they monitor these trees that we have planted and then give a status report, either as half a year or quarterly, so we know what we are doing.
We are going to make sure that our NADMO department are in charge of it. They will be doing the watering, they'll be weeding, we'll be fencing it to make sure that nothing prevents it from going up. So as for that, the assurance is there. What we planted last year, that was 8,000 seedlings given to us. We tried our best. I can say on authority that we have 6,000 of those plants available in Ayawaso West. So the 1,000 given to us today will make sure that everything is intact by next year, God willing.
Now, in the regions, local government officials, ministers and traditional authorities led others to plant seeds across the regions. Here's a wrap of the exercise in some selected regions.
The downpour, which disrupted the exercise in the eastern region and some part of the country, did not stop people of the Volta, Northern and Ashanti regions, particularly from partaking in the exercise aimed at planting 20 million trees. In the northern region, the CEO of NACPAC, Mahama Shani, used the occasion to call on Ghanaians, most especially the youth, to develop the habit of tree planting rather than cutting down trees. He made this call after his organization distributed thousands of seedlings to youth groups in Yape of the Savannah region for onward planting.
As an organization, with one of our passions is to contribute our quota towards afforestation and then minimizing climate change. So for that matter, we have chosen this community, Yape, to observe the day with you, to in a way sell the idea of the effect of climate change and what we should do collectively to make sure that our environment is kept discipline for all of us to live and live well.
The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirkuduka, also urged residents in the northern region to guard the Green Ghana project against bushfires. All municipal and district assemblies and most institutions in the Volta region were on hand to plant some trees with a target of over 30,000 trees in the southern part of the region. Traditional leaders and the Akachi South Municipal Assembly in the area resolved to institute punitive measures against illegal and indiscriminate cutting of trees.
We all know the usefulness of a tree. We know the importance of a green environment. So it's very significant that we all get involved. At least within a period of 12 months, you can plant 1 or 2 trees.
I'm happy to be here and to urge everybody here gathered to undertake tree planting. It is our only way out of this threat, which is being called climate change or global warming. We need to undertake tree planting to save humanity.
In the Ashanti region, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II and the regional minister, Simon Osei Mensah, led a tree planting exercise at the Royal Golf Park in Kumasi. The team also inspected trees that were planted last year in the area.
It's what we use for our survival. And then the carbon dioxide we also, as human beings, bring out is what the trees also use for their survival. So when there's no tree, it means there's no remittance of oxygen into the system.
Back in the Greater Accra region, the Shai Osudoku District Assembly has scored the growth rate of trees the assembly planted last year at 70%. The assembly vowed to ensure that it achieves a higher growth rate this year. Eric Ofer is the District Chief Executive Officer of the district.
It is important to underscore the fact that the survival of seedlings is more important than the planting. Therefore, we intended to do everything possible to ensure that tree reaches maturity level.
Now let's get onto the phone lines and speak to the managing campaigner of Eco Care Ghana, Obed Owusu Adai, for more on this. Good evening, Obed, and thank you for joining us. Where did you observe the Green Ghana Day and how did you find this year's event?
Thank you very much. So today we commemorated the Green Ghana Day in the Techima municipality, specifically in the Tanoso community. By and large, it was very well attended. Unfortunately, in the morning, we had a lot of rains. Okay, it was a good omen, but because of the rains, not so many of the school kids were able to come out. But it went very well for us today.
And I mean, this particular Green Ghana Day, I mean, the concept about it, what do you make of it?
No, I think that the whole program, the whole Green Ghana Day program, I think it's a very, very, very innovative one, and we give all the kudos to the minister for coming up with that concept. Since last year, the 8 million trees we planted, and at least per the assessment they did, they came up with about 75 to 80% survival rate, and we are hoping that this year the 20 million that we are planting, we will also get equally good survival rate. I think the idea of planting trees is a great one because, I mean, we were in Glasgow last year, and one of the things that came out was that planting trees is both helping with mitigation and adaptation, which is great for Ghana, and we need to continue doing that. But more importantly, one thing about this program that for us is very, very important, it's not just the planting, but the growing of trees, and there's a difference. When you plant, you take care of the tree, you make sure that it matures, and not just putting it there and leaving it to survive by itself. And I think this year, what we have seen is that there is a lot of effort that has gone into making sure that the district assemblies, the forestry commission, district offices are actually putting steps in place to make sure that after planting today, they take care of the trees that are planted.
Well, the president revealed that there are some initiatives to help, safeguard Ghana's ecosystem, and that will be happening in no time. What do you make of that initiative? And also, I want you to, help us understand, this conversation about the government and, when it comes to the vegetative cover of our country, and some way, somehow we find that we are selling them off or we are using them for other purposes that people are saying are just going contrary to the concept of the Green Ghana Day.
Thank you. That is a conversation we're really trying to avoid. But the fact still remains that it makes no sense to cut down a forest and plant trees. There cannot be any justification for that. And when I say cut down forests, Digazet Chimota forest to be given for brown development, basically meaning that you're going to cut down the forest. Then today, we planting 20 million trees. It just doesn't make sense, well, at least to us, the conservationists. But for what it's worth, we are planting trees, and I think that is a good thing, and everybody needs to be involved in it. But just as one of our lawyers stated, there is a fundamental problem with the laws that govern natural resource management, especially within the forestry sector. And I think we need a bigger conversation on that, and to see how we marry development with conservation, how we need to be able to put value on our greenery, on our forest. For now, we see the forest as just a resource that is to be exploited for financial benefits, and we are not putting value on the forest when it is there as a forest. For example, all the environmental services that it provides, the microclimate that it provides for our agricultural sector to thrive. We are not quantifying that, and I think we need to have a bigger conversation as a country on that. Other countries are doing it. Mozambique is getting a lot of money from the World Bank for conservation. Just not too long ago, Liberia signed, I think, 150 million contract with Norway to conserve their forests. All these opportunities exist, and we think it's good that the president is saying that in the coming weeks or months there will be a conversation, or there will be initiatives to discuss the protection of our natural resources. We are really anxious and are waiting to hear what kind of initiative. And also that is the problem, one of the problems that do not happen. One of the issues that we have with the government, consultation. There are a lot of NGOs, civil society organizations that are within that space. But when they are coming up with programs, they don't really consult that effectively. And if they consult, probably we could shape some of these initiatives that the president is talking about for it to deliver the outcome that we are all looking for.
And finally, just before you take leave of us, how do we make sure that this is not a one-day thing with respect to the Green Ghana Day, so that it would be at the back of the mind of every Ghanaian to make sure that we plant trees almost every time that we can do that?
We can take a cue from what is happening in our neighbors and our neighboring country. Look at Burkina Faso. There is a law that when you buy a land and you are building, every plot of land that you buy, you plant a tree, either a fruit tree or a proper tree, a timber species. We can begin to legislate these things in our laws. Probably we can start from the district assemblies with our bylaws, making sure that anybody who buys a land to develop into residential property at least plant one fruit or timber tree within that environment. Not too long ago, I don't know how many people have experienced it, but when you are descending into London, you realize that there are a lot of greenery there. How did they come to have more green than we in Africa? There was a conscious effort to make sure that people plant trees, and it is put into law. So let's legislate. It can start from the district or assemblies with bylaws, but ultimately we need to come to Parliament with a law that will compel citizens to plant trees as a requirement, a prerequisite for even being able to build have a building. And we think that is the way to consolidate this Green Ghana Day that we've been observing. We need to legislate it.
Thank you very much, Obed, for talking to us here. And Obed Owusu-Adah is the managing campaigner of EcoCare Ghana, helping us understand more on this. You're still watching Newsnight here on Metro Television. Now let's do some other stories. Now to the opposition NDC, where it is the 30th anniversary of the party, and the party's 2020 flag bearer and one of Ghana's former presidents, John Dramani Mahama, has called on the government to welcome criticisms while protecting journalists across the country. According to him, the safety of journalists to have free speech is essential in deepening the country's democracy. There's more in the following report. Speaking to, Rescue Ghana in a bit to understand, the importance of the NDC to Ghana's democracy, and we'll get to that in a bit. And the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has pledged the party's commitment towards rescuing the country from the NPP administration, and he tells Guineans to take a look at the current economic situation in the country and judge for themselves. And he said this at the party's 30th anniversary celebration. All right, so let's join Rosemary now, and as she gives us some more details from the NDC headquarters. Hello, Rosemary.
Yeah, hello, Desi.
Yes, what can you report for us this evening?
Well, currently the event has come to an end, and it was all fun and fulfilling for party executives together with dignitaries and party supporters who graced the occasion. Some of the key officials who spoke at the event include the national chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosuwampofo, who says that the party has contributed well to the development of the country more than any other political party in the Fourth Republic. Hence, the need to celebrate the party's 30 years anniversary. According to him, going forward, the party plans on staying focused in order to win the 2024 elections.
Okay, and the former president was there, and he made some statements also about the NDC and trying to rescue power from the NPP. Tell us what he's been saying.
The former president wasn't able to make it, okay, but the General Secretary, John Asiedun Ketia, said that the party is committed towards rescuing the country from the NPP administration.
Okay. Well, are there any more activities lined up by the party in, as they celebrate their 30th anniversary?
It wasn't specifically mentioned, but they have plans of making sure that they come together to be one, to be united, so that they win the election going forward. They also acknowledge the efforts of some of the leaders who have contributed to the development of the party, and how far the party has come.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosemary Ayingba, my colleague, bringing us details there about the NDC's 30th anniversary. And very soon we'll be speaking to Dr. Kwesi Amache-Boateng on some more on the NDC celebration of 30 years in Ghana's democracy. You're still watching Newsnight here. We are streaming live on all our social media platforms and also live on DSTV channel 277. And we've got some more stories coming in, and just do continue staying with us as we do that, and we'll be speaking to Dr. Kwesi in a bit. So we're taking a break right now. When we come back, we do some more stories right here on Newsnight. Welcome back. Now to some other stories, and some prospective HAJJ programs say they have been handed a raw deal by the National HAJJ Board in the amount expected to be paid by programs for this year's HAJJ. According to the aggrieved prospective pilgrims, the HAJJ Board, led by Sheikh Ibrahim Kojo Quay, has breached an agreement it consented to in 2021 and 2022 when the annual pilgrimage was suspended due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Having already made payments for their trip when the pandemic broke out, the prospective pilgrims say they signed an agreement with the board to have their monies kept and not refunded. This agreement, among other things, was to ensure that their eventual trip to Mecca will not come with any extra payment demands on them regardless of the change in the fees and charges. According to them, Sheikh I.C. Quay and the Ghana HAJJ Agent Association in a joint communique assured that pilgrims who via their agents wish to retain their Hajj fee deposits with the Hajj board that was earlier paid for 2020 Hajj will be exempted from paying any increment in the Hajj fare for 2022. Contrary to the agreement, the group says the board is now demanding on them to make an extra payment of 7,000 Ghana cedis to make up for the balance of 39,000 Ghana cedis, which is now the current charge per pilgrim. Alhaji Mohammed Awalambila, a prospective pilgrim, and Abdul Dahim Salifu, a Hajj researcher, have been speaking to Metro News.
No concrete reason has been given to us. I only heard that they said there's an introduction of VAT. Well, how much is the VAT percentage? And the percentage is charged based on what figure? We don't know. They've not disclosed that to us. Initially, first time we paid into the bank. This time around, they said we should pay cash to the agents.
It's a serious breach of contract between the agents association, the board, and the pilgrims or the prospective pilgrims in one hand. It's a serious illegality. It is either the board chairman finds a way of topping up that 7,000. I know some people have already paid. Yes, in our communities, Hajj is a calling and whatever. But we have to look in the face of ICQ and say he has failed. That is a bad thing to do because he has breached the contract. And I want to rope in the Agents Association too because their chairman also signed.
The fee, according to Sheikh I.C. Quay, is lower than others in the sub-region, adding that the board, with the support of the government, has put in place measures to make the financial expenditure more accommodating for pilgrims.
Now to some other stories. The coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation, CONIWAS, has petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to investigate what the coalition says is the lack of adequate safe drinking water and proper toilet facilities in public and private basic schools.
The coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation under its Right to Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Services Advocacy Project conducted a depth study into the education management information system at basic levels. The system enabled the coalition compile data on all public and private basic schools with and without safe drinking water and improved urinals. The study revealed that 25% of public basic schools lack access to safe drinking water, whereas 11% do not have access to toilet facilities. The research revealed that lack of access to these basic school infrastructure promotes absenteeism, truancy, loss of teaching and learning time, and generally poor academic performance. The coalition of NGOs in water and sanitation therefore petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to conduct further investigations to establish the number of public and private basic schools without access to toilet facilities.
We have determined that several public basic schools, several private basic schools do not have access to water and sanitation on campuses. And we think that that is a fundamental human right breach. And that is why we have come to present this petition. In our opinion, we think that it is against the fundamental human rights of these children. Their right to education, their right to life, their right to dignity has been infringed upon. And we want the Commission to take steps to address it.
The coalition also wants HAJJ to make a declaration that no public or private basic infrastructure may be constructed without access to safe drinking water for school children.
And the Ghana Army is for the first time participating in a large-scale multinational counter-terrorism training exercise in Morocco. Authorities explain that the main objective of the training is to improve the Army's ability to play and conduct counter-violent extremism operations. There's more in the following report.
You have realized that our brothers from the Air Force have been very instrumental in lifting us up for our training in Ivory Coast and now to Morocco, Agadir in Morocco.
The exercise, which is codenamed Exercise African Lion, will bring the Ghana Army to train alongside the American, Moroccan, Senegalese and the Tunisian armies. Addressing the pre-departure parade at the Air Force Base, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Thomas Opompepra, reiterated the need for joint operations in the Ghanaian Army and called for personnel to exhibit excellence during the training.
Joint operations is imperative, and therefore I use this platform, this opportunity to thank the Chief of Air Staff and all the officers and soldiers of the Air Force for the assistance they've been giving to the land forces. As he said, when you get to Morocco, you are ambassadors of this country. So comport yourself very well, stay focused on what you're supposed to be doing, and ensure that you excel, as you did in UK and in Ivory Coast.
Just as the personnel prepared to be airlifted, other officers were also taking their promotional exams. A senior officer proud to take off describes how relevant the exercise is to the Army and Ghana's security.
Going out there to meet other special forces helps us to get an idea how other people go about their duties. So we go there to learn as well as also showcase what we also have. And this is good for the troops, especially because it also builds our confidence. I tell you, for Cambrian Patrol, Ghana did very well. It was among about 5 countries that were noted for their performance. In Flintlock, we excelled so much.
Exercise African Lion is scheduled to begin from Saturday, 11th June to Thursday, 30th June 2022. For Metro News, Shadrach Odame Ejari, FOS, Accra.
Now to Paris. It is often said that the city is made for strolling along its leafy boulevards and through its parks. And what strikes you about the city's how clean the streets are? No wonder it is touted as one of the cleanest in the world. My colleague Eugenia Kofa-Kumi was in Paris and reports about the greens and parks in the city.
The streets are clean. Waste bins dotted all over. No one dares litter. An effort that took years to be grounded through education and, in extreme cases, spot fines.
We've been through educating, we've been through, and we still go through fining, for instance, for camping. From sometimes to times people do not respect, especially camping cars are a huge problem in some areas. But we've been through educating, fining, having all the policies known, to getting people to feel satisfaction at the fact they've been helpful.
Paris does not only maintain clean streets and walkways, but good-looking parks too.
So I'm currently at a park known as Jardin de Luxembourg, right here at the heart of Paris. And a lot of people are here, just seated, some bonding with their children, some reading, some chit-chatting. and even some practicing their kung fu. It's touted as one of the best gardens right here in the city, and call it our own version of the FASO, the Land Children's Park, but this park has a lot of greenery and it has also play activities for children, and this is Paris.
The use of bicycles, scooters and motorbikes are very common as they are cheaper and eco-friendly to move around the city. Further away from the city are the grand sights of France, a label granted to some natural landscapes for their aesthetic nature. They include wetlands, Ramsar sites, mountains and caves. These sites, about 50 of them, attract an estimated 30 million tourists annually and are protected by the French law since 1930. Each site is guarded by a team of local task force who ensure strict compliance.
At the same time, it's been created a specific police, which is police deceit, site inspection officers are specifically in charge as government officers of respecting and having people respecting this law.
The green spaces in France provide tourists the opportunity to see magnificent wildlife and explore the city. But with cost of living pushed some Parisians to the brink, as some cannot afford high rents, the regional natural parks have become safe haven. A regional natural park is an inhabited rural territory valued for its heritage and natural beauty. Each of the 58 regional natural parks in France are managed by locally elected politicians with support from the residents. Farming is the mainstay of the economy, with €500,000 generated from the farmers at the regional natural parks each year. Director of the Federation of the Regional Natural Parks of France, Eric Bras, displays locally made biscuits from one of the regional natural parks he visited. One thing though is for sure, whether you're a first-timer or a permanent resident, you just have to keep the tradition of maintaining the cleanliness of the city or the greenery of the suburbs. Eugenia Akofakumi, Metro News, Paris.
And on that note, we take another break. When we come back, Winston Taki will be here with the business news. Please do stay on.
Welcome back to Newsnight Live on Metro TV. My name is Winston Taki. And now to our first business story. A Deputy Minister for Agriculture in charge of crops, Yao Frimpong Ado, has assured fertilizer suppliers that government will soon pay them. The minister conceded that although the suppliers have not been paid for the past 2 years, his outfit has received assurances from the Finance Ministry that soon funds will be released to them. He spoke to my colleague Eugenia Williams.
And then the second one was the Ukraine-Russia. Whether we like it or not, whether anybody believes it or not, the truth is that Russia supplied about 40% of our fertilizer needs in this country. So if no fertilizer is coming from there, you should know what's going to happen to us. And moreover, and that is the truth, the ministry owes some of our fertilizer suppliers, and we've been doing business with them since 2017. They supply us upfront and we pay them later.
So far, how much is owed?
No, I cannot put my finger on the total cost, but I know that in 2 years, 2020, 2021, we've not paid any of them.
Why has government not paid fertilizer suppliers? For which reason they are not able to give to the farmers?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very difficult question to answer. Looking at the nature of the global economy, the kind of situations every country is going through. Ghana is not an island. We were also affected seriously. The growth rate that we targeted for 2020, 2021, a lot of countries grew negatively. Ghana, fortunately, grew at 0.4%. At least it was positive. But it affected our revenues. We are just appealing to our suppliers. We've been dialoguing with them at the ministry that it's okay if government owes you
no matter what, government will pay.
But it appears the dialogue is not working because
No,
they
it's
are
working.
not...
We are, the quantities that we need, we are not getting the same quantities. But you see, nature has been so good to us. We just need some small quantities, and when we get good rains, we are going to have good harvest.
Honorable, food prices are up. The prices of tomatoes very costly.
Yes.
Everything is basically
Yes.
up.
Yes.
Inflation is now 27%.
Yes.
Ghanaians are crying.
We know. You see, the situation, as I've been saying, is that this year has been extraordinary. But every year during the planting season, food prices go high. This year, the drought that happened last year, it's not happening this year. It's raining well. So we sympathize with everybody in this country. I go to the market myself, and I know that all the prices are high. But it is just up to, let's give ourselves August, September, and let's talk again. And you see if we will be singing the same song.
Talking about rise in price, when was the last time you bought a loaf of bread? Did you observe any change in price or size? This is because bread prices recorded the highest inflation of 41.35% for May 2022. There is more in the following report.
The red-hot oven of Bethel Brothers Bakery located in Ghana's capital, Accra, has turned many loaves into an exciting brown, with men gathering busily and shaping dough into hundreds of rolls. The bakery, founded nearly 25 years ago, has sold many loaves of bread, but spiraling inflation could soon shut its doors.
Really, the whole thing started from last year, June coming. Every month they will increase flour, not just flour, sugar, margarine, all things that we need to produce bread have been increased, some on monthly or weekly basis, and it's really affecting the bakery industry. Whenever you are trying to stand, then an increment will come, then you need to go back again.
Item that recorded the highest rate of inflation for the month of May 2022 was bread, with an inflation rate of 41.3%, followed by bars and trotro fares, which has the highest rate of 5.8%.
Bread prices have not changed, a situation that has put the bakery at a disadvantage. Producers do one thing to stay in business: reduce the size of the loaves of illegally high prices to stay afloat. The Sean's delivery service has been hit too by the harsh economic conditions. He can no longer afford fuel.
If you are doing genuine business, something you are doing, you are working, at least there should be something that should keep you in business, should keep you working, should keep you going. If they talk of inflation, and then your business is cropping, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a born and bred Ghanaian. I've never traveled anywhere before. This is my country. And if I cannot make it in my own country, then where am I going to make it? Where?
Where else can you make it? Let's bring you the latest update from the Forex and commodities market. That'll be all for business here on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki. Phil John Quarter will bring you sports after this break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, and it's time for sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Football rivalry rekindled at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday when Accra Great Olympics take on the Phobians in the Week 33 of the Ghana Premier League. Coach Arno Walker is in charge of the Daddy Boys.
for my fans, they know only playing Accra as a folk is always a tough and a big game in Ghana, which you all know. All I tell my only supporters are they have to still have confidence.
Well, let's bring you fixtures of the Ghana Premier. That will be on your screen pretty soon. I know Kotoko will take on Elmina Sharks at the Babaya Sports Stadium. That's where they will become champions of the Ghana Premier League after winning. There you see on your screens over the Diana Stars will take on Bibiani Gold Stars. Great Olympics will take on their arch rivals in Accra. That is the Phobians. In Takwa Mediama will take on Accra Lions, whilst in Tamale, Real Tamale United will encounter King Faisal. Asoga Kope Wafa will welcome 11 Wonders. Well, just before we wrap up and give to entertainment, let's focus on what happened in Japan early this morning. Ghana failed to start very well in the four-nation tournament. They were spanked by 4-1 by the host nation, Japan. Let's get a reaction from some foreign players. Aziz Abdul.
Well, I think from now to the World Cup is quite a long time. We still have some months to prepare. Especially, I think this game was a good one to play. I think it's a wake-up call for us to know what we need to do to make the team more stronger before the World Cup.
Yeah, I think we lost today, but to me, I don't see that as a bad thing, because I think it's part of the preparation towards to the World Cup, and we have so many new players that the coach is trying. So I think we still have to support them and believe them. By the time the World Cup will catch up, I hope the coach will get his best out of it so that we can go and do best.
Well, that's your sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Sidua is ready with Showbiz. She's supporting the Green Ghana project.
Oh, that's right, Johnny. Thank you very much for the updates in sports. It's time for entertainment news. My name is Esiodua Akumia. Government is investing $10 million to refurbish and modernize tourist sites across the country. As part of this agenda, the National Museum, which has been shut since 2015, has been renovated and now open to the public.
A museum housing some of Ghana's ancient artifacts and rich history, the vehicles of Ghana's former presidents, including a 1957 Cadillac used by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, can all be found here. The museum was closed in 2015 to pave the way for renovation. Now opened, it is expected to attract 120,000 visitors annually.
To assure you that, Mr. President, this facility will never ever be closed down for lack of maintenance. It will never ever. We have had a model, a business model that will make sure that there's always money, there's looking to keep the museum going and bring a lot of tourists.
President Akufo-Addo launched the Beyond the Return campaign in December 2019. The 10-year plan envisaged that we engage Africans in the diaspora more positively to transform the African narrative to one of progress and prosperity, and to harness and leverage the global talent and resources of all Africans to build a united and confident community of Africans and Africans in the diaspora. Part of the Beyond the Return agenda is the Homeland Return Bill, which will be placed in Parliament this year.
President Akufo-Addo says government is investing heavily in the sector to boost economic growth.
Government has committed $10 million to rehabilitate and build a number of tourist and heritage attractions, including the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, the Cape Coast and Elmina Castles, the Menchia Palace Museum, the Gwiwa Palace Museum, and the Yah Santua Museum, among others. As we reopen the doors of this museum to the public, there's great hope from us that the development of the museum will enable the history of Ghana and Africa to be told in a manner that inspires hope and confidence in our youth, and which will illustrate that our culture is a true expression of the African identity.
He urged the tourism minister to work hard to meet his proposed revenue targets for the sector.
And so, our history, trapped in a building of how many years? When we have learned to trap our history in a building, it simply means we have trapped time. When we have trapped time, we have trapped civilizations, we have trapped journeys, we have trapped our medicine.
Now for our next story, in the early hours of June 10, musician and businessman Mr. Easy released a video to his new song, Legalize. In this video, is himself and fiancée Temi Otedola giving us a feel of their enamored relationship. The couple has, since the beautiful marriage proposal, caused a stir on social media with their wedding plans and expectations. Some fans are already saying the lyrics and the video of the song gives it away as a wedding song. Next story. Well, for our next story, well, unfortunately, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Isiodua Akumia. Desi, over to you.
Isiodua, thank you so much. Definitely small love in the air. Thank you, Isiodua, for bringing us entertainment. Up next, we do international news. Now, 11 military policemen have been killed in northern Burkina Faso after their post was attacked by armed men, the army has said. And the West African country is battling armed groups, some linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and that are waging a violent rebellion that has killed thousands across Burkina Faso and neighboring Mali and Niger. The attack took place on Thursday evening at a security post in Setenga, the army statement said on Friday, and 4 military police were also killed on Thursday in an attack in the western province of Kosi, and 2 people were killed in another incident at a gold farm in the north, the army has said. Now, according to the Armed Conflict Location Data Project, the landlocked country is now replacing or has now replaced Mali, the birthplace of the conflict in Sahel, as the epicenter of the crisis. Now from Burkina Faso, let's move to Nigeria, where about 140 suspected online fraudsters, popularly known as Yahoo Boys, have been arrested in northern Nigeria, and exotic cars, technological devices, laptop computers, and mobile phones are among the items recovered. Some of the suspects were as young as 16 years. And that's how we end the bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. I am Desmond Okrekudanso. We'll be back at 10 with Newsline. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.